ready?
Yes,
Okay. Well, this is our first episode of It's About Marriage. My name is Kim,
I'm B.
and today we just want to go over of love and beyond.
Yeah. What is love and what's beyond that? What's marriage? And just kind of everything intertwined with that.
Absolutely. So, really just kicking things off, we started off at a very young age. We were 18, 19 years old?
Yeah, 19, super young,
Super young.
super like fresh out of high school.
Mhm.
No
Mhm.
idea what was next or what was really gonna be happening in life, like where we were going. Well, we knew kind of where we were going in the immediate situation, like in the military, because that's where we met. So
Mhm.
we knew that part, but
Outside
nothing
of
else.
that, nothing else.
Everything was it was a closed door.
So
So
let me tell y'all about this. Okay, so first of all, I'm young, 18 years old, small town, Beaumont, Texas, BMT, Big Money, Texas. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, you know what I'm talking about? I didn't know nothing about what was beyond that Southeast Texas line, that Golden Triangle, right? So young, feeling, ambitious, just ready to take on the whole world. My only goal leaving home was I didn't want to just be in Beaumont. I wanted something a little bit more. I love my city. I love my town. I'm always going to represent because that's what raised me and that's where I'm from. But man, I really just didn't want to be there like that. I knew that wasn't the end of the world. I needed more. So going into the military, it was just one of those situations where I either work my fingers to the bones to try and get a college education, work full-time job. My parents didn't have it like that to be able to afford to send me to college like that. Playing sports and all that, yeah, I could have got a scholarship, of course, but at the end of the day, I still was going to have to figure it out some way, somehow. And I was like, you know what? Let me just figure something else out. Visit the recruiter office. I'm going to the military. My brother was the one that kind of shifted me to go to the Air Force versus the Navy because, of course, I'm like, oh, I'm following his path. He doing good. Why not? You know what I'm saying? And he was like, no, go to the Air Force. I'm like, okay, well, I'll try it out. I went in, talked to the recruiter. He was like, your scores are amazing. You can pick whatever job you want. I said, well, I just want to be able to enjoy my summer and leave around August. And he said, gotcha. So I waited around, job came up. I hung out all summer long and was able to leave in August. From that, that's kind of when 9/11 happened.
yeah,
Right? I'm in basic training. Shout out to my crew. You know who you are. We was in basic training, and that's when we thought it was a drill because the TIs was like, "Oh, let's put the TVs on." We're being attacked, and we like, "Whoa, wait a minute." That's not what we signed up for. I signed up to go to school. That's it. I didn't want to go to war for real. But it just so happened I was in basic training when 9/11 took place. Do you remember where you was at during that time?
I was in tech school. I was in class.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually uh I was in ground radar maintenance. That was the first career that I had when I went to the military.
Yeah.
And I didn't do well in that class. I just I was fresh out of high school, I had a little break, and then, tech school is kind of like college. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
not prepared for it, if you still have that childlike mind state,
Yeah.
you're a little still a little irresponsible. It won't bode well for you because there's a lot of information, a lot of circuitry and stuff was in that school, and I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
I was still like, I want to have fun, I want to hang out, I want to do this, I want to do that. But needless to say, I didn't make it through that school. But I was in that class. I was actually sleeping in that class, and they woke me up, and the
Mm-hmm.
screen was on, and they showed, and I saw the plane hit the building, and
Yeah.
that was crazy because I was just kind of like, almost like, is this a dream?
Right.
And then it was, reality kind of smacks you really quick.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was in tech school, and we went to lockdown. Everybody's like, oh, we're going to war, we
Yep.
leaving. We don't know what's gonna happen. But the base is locked down really, and then
Yeah.
we just had to wait and see. And that was a crazy time. That was crazy. Like walking
Mhm.
around on base and you see Humvees, with the guns on top, and patrols nonstop. Because
Mhm.
we were at the training base, right? Like we were at
Right.
the base where every airman who goes into the United States Air Force goes,
Mhm.
and everybody was thinking like, oh, this will be the first place they hit. That was the mentality. So it was a wild time, but
Yeah.
none of that happened, of course, as we all know. But sad times, and we all kind of built a weird bond through all of that, when it happened. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's where I was in tech school. I had went in July into basic training, and then I ended up going to tech school. So um, that's when I think I got to tech school, maybe September.
Mhm.
It had to be like September, and
Yeah.
then like beginning of September. So you got to think like right after I got there, I was in
Yeah.
class, and then that happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was wild. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely some wild times, and I think that kind of put a lot of things into perspective for us, being that one, we were, fresh out of high school, majority of us, being on lockdown like that. It was like all we knew was each other. So when I ended up at tech school, I wasn't looking for anything. I was just like, man, this is a little bit more freedom because we didn't have this. You know what I'm saying? So seeing people in a what we call civvy, so civilian clothes, and we stepping off, and we in our were we in our
he was
blues?
in blues.
We was in blues. Oh my god, I can't stand wearing my blues, but we was in blues, and we had to pretty much sleep, eat, live in those uniforms until we made the next, what they call it,
Phase. You had to
phase.
phase up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So with that, me and my girls, we, enjoying our little freedom that we have now in tech school. And I met a few people here and there, but again, I wasn't like looking for nothing. I was just happy to be away from home, just happy to be alive, scared out of my mind because I'm like, man, are we gonna have to go to war? I don't know what's gonna happen. So, with that being said, we kind of hung out in what we call it, like the day rooms or whatever.
Yeah.
So let me tell y'all, I used to enjoy watching wrestling. I can't watch it now because it's not the same. I don't care what nobody say. Back in the day, The Rock, who else?
Stone Cold.
Stone
Stone
Cold.
Cold Steve
Like
Austin.
they made it seem so real back in the day. So wrestling was the thing. So we would literally sit in the day room, watch wrestling all day. I'm in my BDUs. That's what we called it at the time. Um, Dorm duties and all that stuff. So I was kind of still in that lockdown mode, but still able to move around on base within the, realm of tech school students. And I'm just chilling, minding my business. And my homeboy come in and he was like, "Yo, Hawk, what's up?" You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, "Hey, I don't want to drop no names, but you get the picture. Hey, what's up?" And he was like, "Hey, this is my boy, Bray Jones."
Yeah, he was from Dallas. He was super country.
Yes, yes.
But that was my dude, man. We was cool. Actually, he was riding with me that day. Funny story. That same day, I got a speeding ticket on base.
Oh my God.
I didn't even think that was possible. Like you get a speeding ticket on base,
I
but
mean, the speed limit was
I
literally
think the speed
15
limit was
miles
like
per
15 miles an
hour.
hour. I was going like he said I was going like 25 or something.
Oh my
I don't
God.
remember, but
Oh my God.
you know, whatever. Needless to say, I got a ticket. They don't really, you don't get a fee or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I got in trouble for that ticket because
Man.
I didn't tell the who was the instructors that we had. We was in
Mm-hmm.
tech school. I didn't tell them that I got the ticket. They ended up giving me like extra duty one day or something. Whatever. But yeah, we walked into the day room, and he introduced me, and I was like, nice to meet you. I kept it real cool, real calm, real, I was reserved. I was super reserved. And then as soon as we left, I was like, yo, who the fuck is that? because I was she looked, it's a weird thing that happens to you when you go to basic training in the military, especially when you go in summertime.
Mhm.
You outside all the time,
Yeah.
and you get sun kissed.
Yeah.
This is you get like the perfect tan on you, perfect
Mhm.
complexion, and she had it. She was fresh out of basic, so it was like, oh my god, like who is this? Golden complexion, yeah, yeah. And I was like, all right, but I ain't overreact, right? Because you don't want to. And then I didn't know who she was. I didn't know anything about her. I thought she was beautiful, so I told him, and nothing really happened. We didn't really like jump into nothing. We didn't really talk.
Mm-mm.
We
Mm-mm.
just kind of moved in the same group.
Yeah.
Like she had her friends, I had the people that I hung out with, and
Yep.
we were all kind of like a collective. They didn't like us much at
No,
first. You know what
I
I'm
couldn't
saying? When they
stand you.
first when they
I
first like
couldn't stand you.
found out who we were, they said we were obnoxious. We were kind of loud, but it was just
Y'all were.
we were
Y'all wanted
still
all the
young.
attention, and I'm like, I
We was
don't want
having
that.
fun though. Like she said, you're away from family.
Mhm.
This is now your new
Mhm.
family. These are now the people you had this connection with. So,
Yeah.
like you see your homeboy from across the way. You scream out. You like, hey, what's up? And they didn't like that because we drew a lot of attention to us, not purposefully. We just kind of did it, and I guess she felt as though I was an attention whore, and I am by no means an attention. I do not like attention. I try to play the backdrop as best I can.
But I get that now. Back then, I wouldn't be able to say
That's
the
because
same
everybody was
thing.
yeah, everybody was coming to talk to me. I was never the loud one in the group,
Mm,
right? Y'all understand the quiet one in the group, right? That's what they say.
mm.
I was
So
never the
he's
loud
saying,
one.
but everybody wanted to follow you and follow in your lead. So there is no way you was the quiet one because Mister used to rap. Yes, he was. He was a rapper. He was always freestyling, battle rapping, him and his homeboy. And I'm like, oh, I can rap too. It's going down. H time going down. Couldn't tell me nothing. I had the flow.
She had the Houston. She had
I had a
The
flow.
Houston flow. She introduced me to like Big Mo and all of that. So,
hmm
she definitely had the Houston flow.
But going back, no, let's
Yeah,
go back a little bit. So you guys were annoying. Let's be clear, and
we were fun.
you guys were annoying.
We were super fun.
And every time that you guys will come around, I was just like, "Come on!" I don't want to say a name, but come on, let's go. Let's go. They
Oh,
too much, you know.
you talk about Baby D.
Yes, and we would go, and then finally, I can't remember what happened, but we ended up seeing each other at what they call the V, which is like a on base type club for the Texas school students. So you can go in, we would dance. They were playing all of the good music, taking over for the 99 2000. Like it was really a fun time when people would go into the club and dance. Like we're like MBDUs sweating. You know what I mean?
Combat
Like
boots.
drenched
They
coming out in
combat boots
my
dancing.
jail, just running down my face like we were drenched. But it was a good time, that we used to
Yeah,
have
yeah,
on base at the V, the
yeah. The
Vanderbilt.
Vandenberg.
Oh, that's the
The
name of it.
Vandenberg. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was a nice little spot.
Yeah.
So that was like Fridays for us. Pretty
Mhm.
much the weekends, like
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, because we were confined to base for a long time
Mhm.
before they started letting people, like off. But
Yeah.
that was fun. So so we used to kick it up there. We used to hang out, and then I think she used to smoke. You remember you used to smoke Black and Miles?
I used to smoke freaking Black and Miles. Like, what? Excuse me? Why was I smoking Black and Miles? I don't
So it
know.
was
It
only
was
like
so weird.
a few of us in the group who had like cars. So when everybody needed to go somewhere, most of the time we'd be like, oh yeah, whatever, let's go. And I remember her like, oh, we need to go to the store. I need to get some blacks. And I was just kind of like, what?
I was so hood. I was so
Some who?
hood.
I was confused. But again, we were young. To each his own. I knew girls who had smoked before, and
Yeah.
more than blacks or whatever. But I was like, all right, cool. But we ended up, going to the store, and then we went to go hang out at the
Mm.
what was it, like a lake or something like that
Yeah, I
on
think it was
May?
a lake.
It's
I
like a little
think.
picnic area or
Yeah.
whatever. So we was just
Mhm.
kicking it. Everybody, we had music playing in the cars, just hanging out, and I took the opportunity
Mm.
What?
I didn't say nothing.
I felt as though she was, with the eyes telling me something. And I was like, let me go ahead and answer this call.
Mm,
And I gave her a kiss. And since I didn't get slapped, I was like, all right, she must have liked it.
mm. And let me tell y'all, I do not like kissing in the mouth. I don't want nobody. It was just, ugh, I hated it. It was something about being kissed in the mouth that I just disliked completely. It was just weird to me. I don't know. Well, but for some strange reason, when you kissed me that night, Spider Man, let's be clear, because I was laying upside down in the car. I remember that. And then you kissed me.
Yeah, but I
And I was
didn't
like, look
I
at
didn't
him
go
trying
like
to have
tongue
a
action or
moment.
nothing like
No,
that.
you
I
wasn't like,
just, it's
nothing
just
like that.
real, just like
Yeah.
I see you because I know
Right. And I saw you
I see you
too.
seeing me. That's how I
Oh my
felt.
God.
But
Yeah.
even after that, we didn't really like kick it.
No, not really. But we would see each other around. We would hang out and things like that. So I looked at you at that time as I didn't know if you wanted something more or if it was just you trying to test the water a little bit at that time. I didn't know. I really didn't know. So I didn't push. And again, coming from, where I come from, I never chased. It's always the girls get chased, and it is what it is. But that's just the southern side of things, southern side of me. So yeah. Pause for a minute because I do need to refill our wine. Please forgive the cups. We have kids, three boys, and I can't never keep anything in my house. I have some really amazing wine glasses that someone got for us, and yeah, they were broken. So we have been recycling glasses from the Houston Rodeo, and these are the best livestock wine cups I've had in a minute, and they don't break. So we use those until we become empty nesters, right?
Yeah, because
All
they
right.
got a nice little finger imprint
Cheers.
on here where you can hold it. So it don't matter how drunk you get.
And yes, I did just tap it. All right. So back to the story. So again, I didn't know what it was, what you wanted from me, or anything like that. So I just took it as, oh well, he's cute. I will say you catfish me because, listen, again, we're in basic tech school. We're in the sun all the time. And when I say he was just this chocolate dropper, and I'm like, ooh, he cute. I ain't gonna tell him he cute, but I feel like I got catfish a little bit.
Sure.
I had to find out 20 some years later that you're mixed, you with all kinds of stuff that I would
you
have never
you say that like
imagined you
I
to
knew.
be.
I didn't know
Listen,
myself,
I
so
figured you would know.
I.
But anyways, I started to enjoy your company during that time. It was fun. And I think it was around Thanksgiving, right? So let me give y'all this timeline. So mind you, he was there for a while. I got there a little bit, like middle of the October, because I remember I was finishing basic training right after my birthday. Um, got to tech school. Fast forward a little bit, we hung out here and there, but nothing serious, right?
Hmm.
And then come November, can we talk about that a little bit? When you went to
I don't know if we can put that business out there.
uh
So we
can I just say that you left me on Thanksgiving?
it wasn't by choice.
I
I had no other option. We were invited to a Thanksgiving dinner,
mm-hmm,
and the individual who invited us, it was like everyone from out my class, right? We shouldn't have been there, or they at least shouldn't have been celebrating with us, but nobody spoke about it, and we kept it under wraps. But we couldn't bring other people because it shouldn't have been happening to begin with. So
mm-hmm,
it
mm-hmm,
wasn't out of any type of disrespect or that something was going on. It was just that the people who were invited were the people who were invited, and it
yeah,
would have been super. It would have been disrespectful for me to bring somebody else, regardless of who the person was, and that's just I'm not like that.
mm-hmm,
I don't disrespect someone's space or their house or whatever. So yeah, I just couldn't do that. And she was mad. I think you wanted me to like stay back and hang out with you, but I was like, I want like some real food. I didn't
I
want to eat at the
know, and I had
chow
to eat
hall.
at the
So
chow hall. I was so disappointed, but we made it do what it do, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So after that, holidays were weird, and then I don't even know like how like the next pieces happen, because I know the next time we really got like super close was when your cousin had passed,
Mhm.
and I don't
Mhm.
remember the date
Me either.
or anything like that. I just remember like the situation and kind of like how it
Mhm.
had occurred. But I think that situation, that whole interaction, brought us like super close to each other. It
Mhm.
kind of just it put a lot of things in perspective. Um, Maybe for her, but I think for me too, because I felt as though I wanted to. She was someone I wanted to be there for. I wanted to protect. I wanted to make sure she was okay.
Can we talk
Just
about the story though a
what
little bit?
story? The whole story.
Well, not too much in details, but like the twins and stuff.
She always want to
So,
tell the twin
anyways,
story.
I was in my feelings. I was crying a little bit, little, saddened by everything that was happening, and I saw you, but I was in my own, head in my own world, and you kind of pulled me to the side and was like, "Hey, listen, you shouldn't be standing here crying. Can we go somewhere?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Where you want to go?" And I'm like, "I don't care. I'm very indecisive. Whatever. I'll go wherever." So I think that's when we started walking. And remember, it started raining. Guys, this is really like a true story. I think we should have made a movie about this. But we was walking and it started raining. And it wasn't like a heavy pour, like,
It's just drizzle.
New Edition, Can You Stop the Rain type raining. It was just like a drizzle. It was, calming. And we're walking, and then you had a date.
I did have a date, and it wasn't even it wasn't even a big deal, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think like this. I think this is being blown out of proportion.
Mm-mm.
I just feel as though this is taking a turn for something. I don't know. I had a date with someone. She was a twin. It was nothing serious. It was just kind of like, yo, let's go kick it. Let's go eat somewhere or whatever.
Yeah.
And and she was like, cool. And her twin, like they were in like tech school together, like they were at the same base and everything. So, which is kind of crazy. I don't even know how that
Me
occurred.
either.
I think they used to do like buddy system back then.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
they ended up at the same place or whatever. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Let's go. Let's go hang out. And that's when I was actually on my way to my room to shower, get changed, get ready, and then meet up with her, so I can go on this date thing. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I saw Kim, and I was like, me, it was kind of like, what's going on, what happened, because we at that time we was close, like we was
Yeah,
friends,
we
so I
were
cared about
friends.
what the situation was. I didn't know what had happened, so I wanted to make sure she was cool. And then where she was at, it was kind of like in the open, so people walk around and they look at you like, oh, what's the problem, what's wrong with her,
Mm-hmm.
why she like that. And I was like, let me know what's going on, let's just walk and figure it out. So we walked out of the building, and we were kind of just outside, just walking around, and I was just trying to get her into a headspace, like,
Calmness.
calm down, not like it's nothing you could do to fix it, right? I can't
Mm-hmm.
make it better, but I could at least, make it more comforting, and be there. And as we were walking, we passed the twin and her sister and
And
their
Mr. Big
friend,
Head.
who we used to call Mr. Big Head from Rocco's Modern Life. Some of you who watch this may know that show. But yeah.
Mm.
And she used to have this thing, she used to always say, mm-mm. And it came from like deep down. So she was very disgusted at what she saw. And I didn't really
Ay,
care,
ay, ay.
but I don't know if she was bringing her sister on a date with us, if she
And
was
her
gonna be
friend,
a
like
plus
you was about
one.
to pay for a party of four
I wasn't
versus
paying
just
for I was
two.
paying for two. I don't know how the
Man.
other two was gonna handle it,
Mm, mm, mm.
but
Thank God
her
social
sister
media wasn't
could.
around back then.
Who?
Social media.
Oh yeah, we weren't born of the social media age.
Nope.
But needless to say, I never went on that date. So I never knew if her sister was going to be a tag along
Okay.
on the date.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, we walked like the whole.
We did. It
I
was
think it was
crazy.
called like the Triangle at Keesler Air Force Base. I don't know if they still consider it that, but they used to have newer dorms, and then in the back they used to call it the ghetto. They were older dorms, and eventually I think they tore those down because I lived in the ghetto before. I was in the
Mhm.
338, and we walked like all the way down there. And I remember her asking me like, "Where are we going?" And I was like, "I don't know. We just walking."
Mhm.
But she wasn't thinking about what she was thinking about, you
Yeah.
know. And sometimes a minor distraction helps, in a lot of situations. So it helped. And I
Yeah.
think like from that point on, like we were almost like inseparable.
Yeah.
Not we it was still no label. Like no
No.
one I never told anyone like you was my
No.
girlfriend or
Mm-mm.
I was your boyfriend
You
or
made claim,
anything
and I
like
didn't
that.
even know I was being claimed.
I
That's the
didn't claim
crazy
anything.
part.
I just was in the vicinity.
Mhm.
That was it.
Yeah. 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 Just call a spade a spade. You claimed something, and it was never labeled, and then mind you, he said it right. It was never a label on it.
No.
Never. And then fast forward a little bit. Well, I don't think we were even in December yet. No, we were in
We were in
December.
December.
We
I
were in
think we got like
December.
close to
Yeah, I think
December.
you're right. So Thanksgiving, December. Yep, I think you're right. And we're getting ready to get our assignments,
Yeah, we did
right?
our you do your dream sheets and we put everything down
We're
like
getting
where we
ready to get
wanted to
our
go.
base assignments.
Yep.
Yep. And I can't remember how it happened, but
We hadn't even found our bases yet. We didn't even know where we were going until after we had graduated
right. So we
personnel.
were there for a little bit, and I think I went to check first. I think or maybe you went to go check first, and we didn't like cross paths until later. And I think that's when we both was like, "Well, where are you going?" Right? Like trying to figure out where everybody was going or something. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to the Gump, Montgomery, Alabama." And you was like,
You did not say the gump.
I didn't say the Gump, but I'm just saying that's what we call Montgomery, the
You
Gump, babe. That's what we
Maxwell
call
Air
it.
Force.
So Maxwell Air Force
I
Base.
know what we call it, but you didn't say the gump. She
But
said
I said I'm
Maxwell Air
going to
Force
Maxwell Air
Base.
Force Base in
Yes.
Montgomery, Alabama.
Yes. Yes. And I said I'm going to the same place.
Okay. We're literally saying the same
No, you trying to
thing.
change.
You
You
trying
like
to correct me.
no. You
I
said
know
you
what
you said,
Maxwell
"Oh,
Air
I'm
Force
going to
Base.
the Gump."
Yeah. No,
I
I said I'm going to Maxwell Air Force
didn't.
Base. Sorry, let me be proper, prim and proper. I told him I'm going to Maxwell Air Force Base and it's in Montgomery, Alabama. And he said, "Oh, well, that's where I'm going too." And I'm like, "Really?" Like, it was still a shock. Like, how in the world did we end up getting the exact same base? Because for me, remember at the beginning of the story, I said I wanted nothing to do with, being in my hometown or anything like that. So I wanted to get as far away as possible. So on my dream sheet, I know for a fact I had California, I had Germany, I had Japan. Like I had all kinds of places that was nowhere near the South, and I ended up in the deepest of the South, Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And I don't remember, what did you put, like Atlanta or anything on your
I
dream
think I,
sheet?
I think I had put like I think I put Warner Robins, right? Because my
Mm-hmm.
uncle
Mm-hmm.
my uncle lived there, and it was a decent little city. I had been there a few times or whatever, hung out over the summer, and I was like, oh, and I had been to the base, like because he was active when I had been,
Yeah.
but I had put that, but then mostly everything else was like overseas. I don't know if I put California. I know I put Hawaii, but that was like a long shot. Nobody really
Yeah,
gets
nobody gets
Hawaii,
Hawaii.
but
It's fair.
I had put it, but yeah, so I got Montgomery too. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so somehow, some strange way, we end up going to the exact same base
Yeah.
in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, maybe I took that as uh destiny, right? Or fate, or God telling me like, hey, boy, sometimes you get slapped in the face with something,
Mm-hmm.
it's like right in front of you,
Yep.
and it's like you can't ignore it. It's one of those things. It's like no matter how bad you try to like look over
Dodge
it,
it.
and you're like,
Right.
I don't see this. it was there, and I was like, all right, I don't know what's next. I don't know, where my life is taking me or
Yeah.
what journey I'm gonna be on. But the time that we had spent together and as close as we had grown, I was like, it was a connection. It was a super strong connection,
Mhm.
and I was like, I'm gonna ask her to marry me. And people always say, in the military, you get married really fast.
Yep.
And I think, I believe that that's due to the fact that, you're stripped of like everything that right?
Mhm.
You're removed from family, you're removed from environment, from friends,
Yeah.
a lot of distractions sometimes, and you're kind of left to your own uh, decisions, choices, devices, whatever, however you want to look at it, and you have to maneuver on your own, and you kind of grow these attachments to people that, in normal circumstances, you probably wouldn't grow attachments to,
Right.
and the bonds are super strong because it's built around um, this kind of like family sense of like we're responsible for each
Yeah.
other. So I think you fall in love, and me personally, I think even as like a kid when I was younger, I fall in love hard. Like if I say like I'm in love with somebody, I feel somebody, like that's my person. And I
Mhm.
feel like when me and her found each other, I was like, this is my person. And I was like, all right, I will propose. So I I put a ring on a bear,
Oh yes, the bear.
and I was like,
The
I'm just gonna
bear.
give her this bear, and I'm gonna see if she notices the ring, because I didn't want to make a big deal of it, because yeah, we was going to the same base, but I didn't want like all these people involved and in our business. I kind of just wanted us to figure it out. And so she got the beer and she was like, "Oh, thank you, this is that and the third." And we were in the dorm, so she went to her room, I went to my room, and then I was just in my room and I was like, she ain't called me yet. I'm like, and she must like, I guess it's a no. So I called her and I was like, "Hey, did you look at the bear?" And she's like, "Yeah, I looked at the bear. I like it." I was like, "Can you look at the ribbon on the bear and tell me if it's something on there, that kind of like stands out?"
Mhm.
And she was like, "Yeah, sure." So it's like a pause, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And it's like all the screaming or whatever. So then she's like, "I need you to propose to me in front of everybody.
To make sure it's real.
I want to
Because
make
I thought you
sure
were
this
playing
is real."
games. I
I
thought you were playing games. I thought you were playing games.
So I was like, "All right." As much as I didn't want to do this,
Oh my
because
god.
I'm not one for a spectacle. I don't want to be
Mhm.
like in the limelight. Yeah, she's like, "Oh, you used to rap," but that's because people forced me to
Mhm.
do this. So I was like, all right, bet. So we all go. I go. She like call all her friends, and of course I gotta hit my homeboys up like, y'all come out here, give me some, what I'm saying, some backup. I don't want to be out here looking stupid, especially if she say no, because I'm like, maybe she's like, I want everybody out here so she can make me look stupid. So whatever, we go out, we in the middle of the thing, and like all our friends are there, So I propose, I get down on one knee, and I ask her, and she says yes. So it was pretty dope, and we still have like pictures of it.
We
Like people
do.
took snapshots.
We
This
do.
is before like
Phones
4K
and yeah.
pictures and video and all that, and this is a little Polaroid, you know. Click it, and then you gotta roll the thing, and then take it
In
to
your
CVS and
Rams jersey.
Walgreens to get the picture developed. But yeah, so she said yes, and then after that, it was kind of just like, all right, now I'm engaged. And I didn't even know what that meant.
Me,
I
I
was
had
just kind of
no
like,
idea.
I just
No
felt like,
idea.
okay, she's just my girlfriend, but she got a ring. And, because we were young. I was what 19. I was still 19 at
19.
that
Yeah.
time. So
I think I just turned 19.
nobody had ever talked to me about like what it meant.
Yeah.
Getting engaged or get or being. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and then we progressed through the rest of tech school until it was time to leave.
Yeah. It was time to leave. It was around what, December? The end of December maybe?
It was like towards the middle
Because I
because we
remember
had a little bit of
celebrating
time
Christmas
before
with your
Christmas. Yeah, we had a little
family
bit of time
or
before that
going
though.
to Georgia for to see your family for Christmas.
Hmm.
Yeah. And yeah, so we moved to our base. We spent the holidays together. I spent holidays with his family, even though they didn't want us to get married. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I told my mom and her previous husband that I had proposed. So I was like, I proposed. This is everyone's first time meeting her because I
Yeah.
hadn't been home
Mhm.
since I had left for basic training basically. So when I told him, his response was, "Why would you do something like that?" I think that was his response.
Mhm.
Um, I never listened to that man a day in my life, so why would I listen then?
Why would I listen to that?
But it didn't really bother me because I
Yeah.
never I never made any decisions that I made based off of what they told me.
Yeah.
They never really gave me a lot of insight into what life was all about, or what's next, right? Like
Mhm.
there was not a lot of preparation done in my household when I was a kid, so it was kind of like I'm gonna learn this lesson the same way I've learned every other lesson
Yeah.
on my own,
Mhm.
and I think it turned out great because 22 some odd years
We
later,
still
I guess it
together.
worked.
And I think like when we went back home to Beaumont for you to meet like my family, um, it
Oh,
was so awkward. It
can
was
we talk about
so
that?
awkward. Yeah. So first of all, my dad, I'm like, are you gonna ask him for my hand? Even though, we had already, again, we were new to this. We had no idea how any of this worked. We just going based off of what we've seen or what we've heard. You need to ask my dad for my hand in marriage. That's how I was feeling. And I think you went and my dad was like up the road or something at a friend's house. And I was like, that's weird. I don't want you to go to some random house to meet my dad for the first time, but you went, and I wasn't there, so I can't speak on that full conversation. But even when you met my mom, oh my God. So this was so embarrassing. So I told you from the jump, I said, hey, I just want to warn you because my mom is a little much. So just so you know, just brace yourself a little bit. And you was like, I got it. I got it. I can handle it. I'm like, okay. I'm just letting you know. My poor baby. You didn't even walk in the door.
I
We
didn't
had the
even
little stoop,
had the
and you
stoop
walked up.
with the screen
And I
door,
went
the metal
first,
screen door.
and
Yeah.
you was walking behind me. And the first thing my mama say is, how did this end? And I'm like, oh my God. I said, Mama,
Who's this N word you bring into
bringing it
my
to my
house?
house. Yes. And I'm just like, did you really? Oh my. You just looked at her like, I mean, if I got family right up the road, if I need to go to Lake Charles, that's where
Yeah.
I'm going to go. And I'm like, no, you're not going nowhere. You need to settle down, ma'am, and properly introduce yourself to my soon to be husband, right? And it was just, it was a shit show. Like, let's be honest, it was literally a shit show. And I'm like, this is too much. Like, this is not how I wanted you to meet my family. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a lot happening that day. It was a lot going on that day.
Yeah.
And I think that's when you were still smoking Newports,
Yeah.
right?
I went
And
right
you was
outside. I
like,
was like,
I
I'm
need to
going to
go
smoke a
smoke
cigarette
cigarettes.
because I was like, I don't know how to deal with this because my family is literally like 45 minutes
If
away,
that,
right? Like
yeah,
30 minutes,
yeah.
45. And I was like, I'll get my car. I'll just drive to Lake
Mm-hmm.
Charles. And plus, I could have got some boudin too. So it's
Right.
a win-win for me. But
Mm-hmm.
she wanted me to stay. I was like, all right, I'll stay. But I'm not gonna deal with that. This, because I'm not being disrespectful or whatever. So,
Yeah.
but we got over it, and she cooked breakfast the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
She was like a totally different person the next
Nine
day.
day. Nine
And
day.
then yeah, it was just it was just that one time. But then she's always hit me with a few jabs,
Oh yeah, she gonna she
but
gonna jab a few times to see if you can take the shot or
yeah,
if you gonna buckle. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah. I would slip every punch she would throw. She would throw a punch. I'd be like, just bob and weave.
Yeah.
And I think now, after so many years,
Hmm.
like she don't even mess with me no more.
No, because she knows. I think she knows better, and she respects you, not only as my husband, but hell, I think she respects you more as her son because she calls you her son.
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something. My mama told. my beautiful husband, she loved him before I've ever heard those words utter from her mouth in years. You know what I mean? So for her to step out of that and tell him, I love you, and I was just like, wait a minute, are we in the right? What's going on? You know what I mean? It was very odd, but I couldn't get mad because I'm like, that's not like her. So for her to really say it to me, it meant she means it. So I didn't get upset about it. I was just caught off guard. I'm like, that's not her. Like, what happened? Did something happen? And I think it was all from a level of respect. I think my mom is a person that will test to see how far she can go. And then if she feels this person isn't going to budge, I think that's kind of when she says, okay, hey, let my guard down a little bit. I'm peel back these onions. You know what I mean? These layers. But again, you get what you get,
Yeah.
right? She's going to be who she is from day one. She's never going to change. Everybody knows, anybody that knows my mom that's been around her know she's a straight shooter, point
Oh
blank,
yeah.
period.
Oh, for
Nothing
sure.
more, nothing
For
less.
sure.
And don't
She.
care what she say, how she say it, or who feelings she hurt. She's gonna say what she wants.
Oh yeah. I mean, and if y'all remember from the beginning of this, she said she didn't like me that much when she first met me either.
Mm-mm.
So it's this thing about me, right? I just wear down
Yes.
defenses.
Wham and
Yeah,
down.
that's it. It don't take much. I mean,
Oh God.
just saying.
Mm.
But yeah,
I give you that.
that's my
I give you
baby
that.
now. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
love that lady. She called me the other day. I don't know if y'all can tell her now. I'm kind of getting over a little cold, but she called
Mm-hmm.
to check. She texted me to check on me. She asked me how I was doing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna see her. We're gonna see her this weekend. So excited about that too. I
Yeah.
gotta talk to her, get her in line. She been acting up.
Absolutely.
I don't know what's wrong with
Absolutely.
her.
Well, we're gonna pause right quick. We're gonna get a drink of wine. So I'm gonna have you pour, and I'm just gonna step for a second. Hey, 40.
You want to end it there?
Mm-hmm.
Cause it ain't much wine left in there. I'm gonna pour you the rest.
All right. So we didn't finish
Yeah,
the rest of our
she get
bottle
the
of
rest of the
wine.
bottle.
All right. Cool. So,
No,
we,
weird fact.
oh, go.
She can't wink.
Why are we talking about that right now, though?
Because I poured the wine and then I told everybody you got the rest of it.
Oh, and you winked at
I
the.
winked.
Okay. Okay.
Can you wink? Can you
Yes,
wink
I
at them?
can.
Can you wink at everyone? No,
No,
them.
I'm winking at
No,
you.
wink at everyone else.
I'm gonna wink at you.
What do you call the wink with when you use both eyes?
Wink.
A blink.
Oh, I just did it. I just did it.
That was
I
both.
promise you. Wait, y'all my witness. I did it, right? Y'all seen one eye go down. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna have to practice that. But
They gonna lock
anyways,
you up.
anyways, thank you all for joining us. This is our first try at this. I know it's a little rough around the edges, but we just wanted to bring something different to the table um, about who we are, because we get a lot of questions from a lot of people of, how did y'all make it this far? How were y'all able to start at such a young age and build to where you're at now? So we really wanted to use this time to just show you who we are and show you that we're just normal human beings like everyone else. It's just all about the hustle and making sure that you stick beside the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And I think that's what we want to bring to this particular podcast. So, with that being said, do you have any last words for the people before we wrap it up?
Um, Steal a kiss.
Mm,
I'll say that. Take a chance. Because if you don't, you never know what happens. What do they say? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I'm glad
right,
I
but
took that
these days
shot.
I don't think you can just be kissing up on people
Nah,
because
this is a different
you're
day and
gonna be
age.
ended up like the diddler or something like this. Be careful out there, okay? Get consent, all right? Don't just be walking up to people just kissing them all
Don't
randomly.
overspend on baby
No,
oil.
no, no. Just Be careful out there, people. But seriously, thank you all for joining us today. We have more episodes to come. We will definitely make sure we keep it consistent. We're gonna ask for topics and questions that people may want to hear.
Yeah,
But again, this is just us being us. Nothing more, nothing less. Just want to introduce who Kim and B is, right?
that's it.
Welcome to the Praise Young's podcast. It's about marriage. Peace.